And I remember from the memories of the campaign, I remember that he wanted 50,000 leaflets delivered. Not a problem. 50k, sent 50,000 leaflets up to Oxfordshire. A few days later, Rob, I think I may have underestimated the enthusiasm of my members. And asking me for more leaflets. So to listen, to hear more now about taking the fight to Cameron, our Oxfordshire chairman, Jason Kent.
Thank you, everyone. Janice has already mentioned this slide, so I'm only going to show it for a brief moment. Oxfordshire is the most northwesterly point of our southeast region. I have no signs. Oh dear, maybe?
We believe you.
Well, while still waiting for my slides. There we go. So we are the top right corner. And just to set the scene a little, if you're not familiar with Oxfordshire, we have 6 parliamentary constituencies and 5 branches, branches associations, I say branches, let's change it. We have Banbury in the north, and a year ago we didn't have a branch actually in Henley. So after the county elections this time last year, we had done the county elections without actually having a functioning branch down in Henley. Since then we now have fully functioning branch, and the position of Oxfordshire chairman. Sorry. So the position I have as Oxfordshire chairman only came about in the autumn of last year. We have really gelled together as a county. I'm immensely proud of all the chairmen, all the branches, and the activism that they have shown. And as Rob has said, I'm here to say, taking the fight to Cameron, and we really have taken the fight to Cameron. He is in the Witney constituency, as some of you may know. So far, we've also selected 4 of our PPCs for next year's elections as well. We have 2 left to go. One of them is the Witney constituency, and the other is the Oxford, West and Abingdon. If I just show you for Oxford, West and Abingdon, it's the one on yellow on the left there. That was won by the Tories, because we are a seared blue around a little dot of red in Oxford City. That was won from the Lib Dems, who had had it since 97, by 170 votes, just 170 votes, 3 recounts. That one is going to be a very interesting seat come next year. At the same time as the Euro elections, in Oxfordshire we also had 3 areas contesting their local elections. In the north of the county, up in Banbury, they had a full slate out of 16 candidates, which was brilliant. And in Witney, the district council was just running about 16, 17 seats. We put out the most we've ever done there before. That was 11 candidates standing. And we had also Oxford City as well. So Oxfordshire this year, as Rob said about the leaflets, if we counted all the ones that were printed for the various candidates, the delivery was somewhere in the region of 120,000 leaflets throughout the county. We managed to put on 2 of the public meetings. One of them was in Banbury, one was in Witney. The one in Witney I chaired, and we had Roger Helmer and Simon Strutt there. It was quite interesting to watch. As I was sat there chairing this meeting, I could see out the corner of my eye, because there's a big glass side to the room, there was this person walking by, this young guy, and he was on his phone the whole time. And every now and again he'd go... I found out later he was one of the young Tories who had been sent to spy. This was a public meeting. He could have come in. And as it happens, 4 or 5 of the local councillors, Tory councillors, were in. One of them had recently become an independent, and he walked out with 2 UKIP estate agent boards to hang up at home. Outside. But I must tell you about the posters. Taking the fight to Cameron, we decided we would do posters. Now, I know there was a little bit of an issue with posters this year, but we managed, through Chris Adams, to secure quite a lot. And we used them, we think, quite wisely. One weekend in April, one of the crews went out, van, cutting equipment, drills, hammers, everything to put up signs. We put up over 30 posters throughout Oxfordshire and nearly 100 estate agent boards. And we decided we would concentrate as many as we could in Whitby. And there is one, because we're kindly souls. And sorry it's so blurred, but the point here is this is the main A40, this is the artery road into Whitby. When you're coming from London, back to Whitby, that is the first thing you see when you go into the Whitby constituency. There is another sign on the opposite side as the last thing you see. Just to remind our man where he is. We went a step further. This particular sign is my favourite. This one is just outside a little village called Hayley, where a certain Prime Minister lives nearby. This went up on this Saturday in April, and on the Monday morning I'm doing my day job. By mid-morning I've received not one, not two, but 3 phone calls from the County Council and the District Council. Mr. Kent, you must remove this sign. Why? It's on the highways. No, it's not. It's on private land. Well, it's got to be on private land with the owner's permission. It is. Prove it. What? You have to prove it. This went on, and they phoned back and they said, OK, we're sending out an enforcement officer, or we have sent out an enforcement officer. There is the enforcement officer's photographs. And when I had the afternoon phone sessions with them, I said, OK, is this on new wood or old wood? And they said to me, it's on new wood, obviously newly put up. Actually, it isn't. It's on a metal frame, I pointed out. From your own photographs, on a metal rusty frame. It used to be a Tory poster site. But they wouldn't give up. So I said to them, this is from your own enforcement officer. Look at the timestamp in the lower right corner, 9:35. We put the posters up on Saturday, your office opens on Monday at 9 o'clock. And you have an enforcement officer there at 9:35. You can't get the emergency services that fast. Then it started to get nasty. Yes, they demonstrated an awful lot more of the hate than the hope. Well, we left quite a lot of these up because we thought they actually said a lot more about the people who defaced them than they did about us. But back to our one near the village of Hayley. That particular one was taken down and thrown in a ditch 2 to 3 times every week, and eventually we actually replaced it 4 times over the 5-week period. I don't know if any of you are aware, there's also a Facebook site my 14-year-old daughter pointed out to me that was for registering UKIP posters and having them defaced. Now, we don't know who did it. Was it these folks? Was it the tourists? We don't know. But this particular one, they left their calling card. Look at the bottom. And we put in the appropriate phone call to the party involved, and the smaller posters were taken down. But when we did our clearance last weekend or the weekend before, moving all down, we realised that the Labour ones had just been thrown into the stream. Just behind that sign, 6 foot down, there's a stream. They've just been held in there. Now, you'd think that that would be it. The election's over, we'll move on. But this is Whitby. Oh no. This was last weekend. It's on a listed barn in the middle of the town. And so we get the phone call, why have UKIP done this? This is the local press. Why have UKIP put this up? And I said, well, think about this. Just a few weeks ago, you're trying to give us the narrative that we're a bunch of racist retired colonels. That is not the demographic of the spray camera. And surprisingly, the write-up in the Oxford Mail has quotes from Labour and from the Lib Dems and nothing from UKIP. We did, however, get rid of it, but it wasn't, as I assure you. So how did we do in Oxfordshire? Well, where we stood in Charwell, in all the wards, we came second in 9 out of the 16 wards. In West Oxfordshire, I was there at the verification, and we looked very close in some of the places. When the postal votes arrived the next day, it seemed to get very different. But one of our wards, in particular, South Whitney, we were 150 votes short of winning, which was a great shame. We would love to have got that one and actually have our first student council in Oxfordshire. Oxford City is always going to be a challenge for us, and I speak, there's a fantastic chairman, Ian MacDonald, there, and I say, you really do have the tough place to be. It's very laboured with the students at one side, you've got lots of academics, lecturers, it's very liberal on the other side, but take heart, look what happened in Rotherham. For the European elections, we were a close second, almost everywhere apart from the city, and in 3 of the areas, if you stacked up the Labour vote and the Lib Dems together, it didn't reach the UKIP vote. So I know Roger Bird is coming on with the road to Westminster later, but just some of the lessons that we learnt. One is build the local intelligence. We are still trying to build that local intelligence. The Tories in South Whitney realised how well we were actually doing with full canvassing and everything else. In the last 48 hours, they were bussing people in, not on the scale of Newark, but they were still bussing people in to try and get their vote back up. We had them rattled in their own home patch. And so what we're intending to do is start the canvassing, if we can call it that, knocking on doors. We need to know behind which doors our UKIP vote lies. We want to know that now, ready for next year. That's work throughout this summer and through the autumn. We want to know where the votes are. The other parties have been on the ground for many, many years. We need to learn the same things. Poster frames. We're going to do it all again. But this time, we've actually, what's been out canvassing, we've also said, are you going to be a poster site? And we've got quite a few more. So we're going to have to put the frames up beforehand. We learned that putting frames up during an election campaign is a very time-consuming thing to do. So we'll put those up during this summer and through the autumn, ready for next year, to be prepared for next year. We're also going to try and plan our reaction to the postal votes a lot better than we did this year. And last but not least, having got 4 of the 6, and hopefully the full 6 parliamentary candidates in a few months' time, we want them out and about, meeting people and getting known and in the media. So that's our plan for Oxfordshire, that's what we've done, and we really did take the fight to Cameron this year. Whilst I still have the platform, I do want to say something that's not directly about Oxfordshire. There are 2 people in this room who have worked their socks off throughout this campaign. And they have been hugely supportive of both our branches and me for the county. One is Rob Burberry, the other, Chris Adams.